Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, sports, lifestyle, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, me is Peter Beats. We're speaking about a film called American Fighter coming out May 21st in theaters, and it's going to be then available on demand the 25th. We're speaking to somebody who's going to see this film. George Kosturos is with us. George, welcome to Popternative, man.
Thanks, man. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. Now, this film is packed. There's a lot going on in this film. What was it like working on a film like this?
It was awesome. It was like a dream role for me. I grew up loving films like Never Back Down and Fight Club and all that stuff, and to be leading a movie that's in that same vein was just a dream come true. And I had all this training to do. The first film, American Wrestler, was a wrestling movie, and so I learned wrestling for that. And then this one goes into the world of MMA, and I had very minimal experience with MMA. I did jiu-jitsu in high school, but had to learn a lot for the movie. So they had me in training every day for like 3 months straight, nonstop, and it was just a blast.
Absolutely. Now, this dives, of course, into the world of MMA, underground fighting, and everything, but it's also packed with a lot of other things as well. There's the family component. There's a lot of your characters just going for like a roller coaster of emotions throughout the whole film. Yeah. What was it like working on a packed film like this that has so much going on?
It felt, to be honest, it felt like natural. I've worked at this company before, and they did the original movie American Wrestler, and so we all already felt like a family. So being it one day we're doing very heavy emotional scenes, and then 5 minutes later we're doing a fight scene, and then 5 minutes later we're doing some other like crazy driving scene. Like it was very seamless. Just because I knew the production team so well, and the director and the producers and all the cast was just great to work with.
Yeah, Tommy Flanagan, Sean Patrick Flanery, like stacked, man.
I know. It was really cool. It was cool sitting across in scenes of people I've watched on TV my whole life.
It's funny because you say you did the first movie and then you're doing this one, and it's one of those things where, it came natural to you, but there's always going to be kind of learning experiences for you as kind of an actor working on films, no matter how long you've been working on it. Mm-hmm. So for this film specifically, what were learning experiences for yourself as kind of like an actor?
To be honest, I did all my own stunts, and it was a lot of fight choreo on this. And I learned how hard stunt people work on the back end. Yeah, because usually as an actor, you show up to set and the stunt guy comes on, does his thing, and then leaves, and you don't really know what they're up to. But in between scenes, we're constantly practicing choreo, and it's so confusing and it's so tricky. And if you miss and you lean the wrong way, you're going to get punched in the face. And so, so that was a huge learning experience, seeing how hard it is to be a stunt guy. I felt like a full-time actor and a full-time stunt guy on this movie.
And I've heard, talking to other people, the stunt world is so competitive these days, because you think about acting and auditioning and everything. I hear it's nuts for the stunt world.
It's just as hard. I feel like it'd be even harder because you have to be great, and then you have to show up and perform these crazy things. So the stunt people on this film were amazing, and just the stunt community I have so much more respect for after doing a movie like this.
With your athletic background and everything, you were hoping to kind of work on films like this, right? This is kind of a dream come true a little bit, totally. Right?
Yeah, the wrestling one was a dream come true, and then turning into MMA was even more of a dream come true. And I've done sports and athletic things my whole life, and I seem sort of lend well to those kinds of films because I can learn stuff pretty quickly, and that's kind of my forte.
Absolutely. Can you go into a little bit more of what was it like kind of working with the cast for this film? You have Tommy Flanagan, you have Sean Patrick Flanery. Been in so many amazing things. What was it like working with those two?
They were great. Tommy was a riot every day on set. He brought so much energy and so much grittiness to the movie, which was just such a blessing. He was fun, really fun, nice guy to work with. He's super intimidating in all his films, but in real life, he's a real fun, nice guy. And then Sean Patrick Flanery was awesome as well. He actually is a black belt jiu-jitsu champion and has his own dojo in Hollywood. And so he brought a lot of real sort of real life elements to the movie, and was such a pleasure to work with. He was I was training the whole 2 months and starting to feel pretty good about myself in terms of my fighting and everything. And And I told him like, hey, could we, do you think you and I could like roll? And he was like, I don't know. He's like, and then by the end of the movie, there was this like on-set bet that he could choke me out in 10 seconds. And I was like, there's no way. And one day on one of our day offs, we brought the mats from set to where I was staying, and everyone was there, and it was all this big exciting thing. And I was like, I can last easy. And so we get in there, and we start rolling around, and I like lasted like a minute. I was like, I can do this. I told you. And then and then he's like, okay, you ready to start? And I was like, oh yeah, go. And then 4 seconds later, I was like, and I tapped out. And so he and I got along great. He's a lot of fun to work with.
I'm just curious. I mean, it depends on also the like the type of like how long the shoot was or what type of project it is. But you know, this seems like talking to you already. Like this was a lot. Like you have to learn you do your own stunts. There's a lot going on. It's packed, right? What's the mindset when you're done wrapping a film like this? Is it like, okay, let's do another MMA movie. Let's go right away. Did you want to take a break? Like, what's that like?
It's funny. It sort of sticks with you for a while. I was so into MMA and training that like after the film for about like 4 more months, I was still going and training because it became like my new workout. And I was like, it was weird. And then after a while, like I kept going to the gym and I realized like, hey, I don't have to do this anymore. And it was kind of funny to realize like it's funny how a character kind of sticks with you after the film's wrapped even.
Because there's a lot going on in American Fighter, I think one can make an argument that this movie can be seen as like a genre bending movie a little bit, because I don't necessarily think that this movie stays in one box in terms of what it is, because there's action, there's drama, there's a lot of different elements. Do you see what I'm saying with that a little bit with the genre bending aspect?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I think the MMA and the fight movie of it genre is just the backdrop of a really emotional story. That's just a great and inspiring movie.
What was it like reading the script for this? Like, it is emotional. It is about family. It's great.
It totally was. And it went in a way off of the first one. It went in a way completely different than I ever would have thought. And it was really like when they decided to make another one, I was so excited and I had no idea. They said it's going to be about MMA. And actually the producer and I, Ali Afshar, sort of came up with it together. We had always joked about like, what if it went on and in college he got into MMA? And then we talked about it. And then one day he was like, hey, we have a script. And I was like, we're going to do it. And I was so excited. And reading it was just I just loved it all the way through.
And when people watch this film, you obviously hope that they obviously answer this question, George, is like you hope they enjoy it, they like the story and everything. Diving deep into it a little bit more, what are you hoping they get out of it when they watch this film?
I hope that people get inspired. When I used to watch movies like Never Back Down, and when I watch movies like Rocky, even, it just, even though you're not a fighter in real life, the theme of it all inspires you to, work hard, work towards something. Don't give up when things seem like you're not going to make it, and to sort of be inspired to go after something that they desire.
Absolutely. Is there any, like, you talked about like the learning experiences for it, but was this the type of movie too, like, because your athletic background and everything, those are the type of movies you want to work on. But the fact that it was kind of a tale of two movies a little bit, where you said like the MMA and the backdrop and it being a good story, is that kind of the ideal project that George wants to kind of work on, the one that has kind of both those elements?
Yeah, definitely. I think I love telling a great story, and that's the reason I became an actor. But I did grow up with sports being such a big part of my life. So being able to blend both of those truly is a dream role for me. And I love doing athletic films, sports films, and things like that.
Have you also thought about the fact that this is kind of what I call like the middleman question, where people kind of watch films like American Fighter, they see you in it and everything, and you're doing all these amazing things, and people are like, wow, I want to be one day in George's footsteps and act and do this kind of hybrid like MMA thing, doing his own stunts, acting in a movie. But at the same time, you're kind of growing like as an actor, as a storyteller as well. You have people you look up to, so you're kind of like a middleman, right? People are looking up to you, totally. And like you're looking up to me. Have you ever thought about that? Because that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, that is, because you go most of your life being the person looking up to somebody, and it's weird when it starts to shift and people are looking up to you. And yeah, I've definitely thought about that, and I hope, I mean, if anyone's inspired by me or anything, I hope it inspires them to go after their dreams, because that's all I'm doing, and that's all the people who inspired me to do.
And when it's funny because there's like the release of a movie, but this kind of being a storyteller and a fan of movies over the years, trailer releases are a big deal. When a trailer finally drops for a movie, it's huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the trailer for this movie is packed. It has a lot in it. What was your reaction when you saw the trailer for this? What was the family and friends reaction when they saw the trailer for American Fighter?
Yeah, well, there had been different versions, like leading up to it. And I'd seen all these other versions, but then when Lionsgate got a hold of it, they made this amazing, amazing trailer. And I remember we watched it. It was two of my friends were there watching it. My friend Liz and Jonna were at my house, and I was like, "Hey, the trailer show came out today." We put it on TV, and it was like crazy, and we were all like, put it on again, and immediately we're just like, watch it again, because it was just so action packed. We're like, we need to see it again, and we were all so excited. Everyone's like,
the art of trailer making is like crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy what they can do. It's like, I was excited to see the movie, and I already know everything that happened.
It's insane. Well, George, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. It was really great to chat with you.
Yeah, great to chat with you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for everyone to see this movie. Definitely go out and see it in theaters.
It's gonna have a theatrical release May 21st.
Yes, which is exciting considering COVID and everything. They're able to get into theaters on the 21st. It's in theaters, and then on the 25th, it's on VOD.
Absolutely. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
I'm mostly on Instagram at George Kosturos, just my name. And that's pretty much all I use. I don't really use Twitter or anything else like that. So Instagram at George Kosturos.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative. You're going to be able to catch George in American Fighter. Theaters May 21st. VOD May 25th. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is George Kosturos and Petey Beats signing off.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.